What up everybody, it's Anime Junkie and welcome to redo of part 2 of What If Deku Was Born with Ultra Instinct. And now, let's get to the intro.
I'm not the one you wanna fuck with. Late nights messing up my sleep, so I'm flustered. Taking out aggression with my pen because I trust it. Right in front of get myself a lamb color cuss for the game. Leave him hanging by his chain. Click bang, feeling rage, feeling fire in my brain, feel insane. And it's slowly feeling flames, feeling frost from my brain, bringing more hate, no glory.
Okay guys, before we start, I'd like to tell you the new name of his Ultra Instinct quirk. A lot of people like this, actually 44 people liked it. And I thought there would be more people who liked this, but there weren't any people who actually liked any comments. So I would have to go with this one. So it's going to be called Advanced Instinct by Keychain Paladin. Paladin. And he basically said it would be called Advanced Instinct, but later on, when they see the power of this power, they'll call it Ultra Instinct. So yeah, so Advanced Instinct for now. And when he does go into his like Ultra Instinct mode, because that's exactly when he learns, when the state he turns his hair into like silverish white, that is exactly what Ultra Instinct is. But Ultra Instinct when he's like with black hair but only with white eyes, that is when it's going to be called Advanced Instinct. But when he goes into his silver hair form, that is when he turns Ultra or plus Ultra. I don't know why, but yeah, let's go. So I hope you guys are happy with that name, and let's move on. So it's Deku. Let's do a time skip, but last time we left off, it was Deku 5 years old, and he just started learning how to increase his physical strength and speed for 1 year, and he's done that for 1 year, and he's gonna continue it. So let's skip to the start of the anime because we don't really need to waste time anymore. So we get to the start of the anime. Deku knows how to activate or use his Ultra Instinct to attack and dodge things. I mean, of course, dodging things is like unconsciously or subconsciously he does that, and he can also use his speed to attack people and everything like that. And he also has good control over his ki, but not good enough to actually fly with it. So he can't fly right now. He will still learn that, because I still want Deku to grow into a stronger person, because I don't think Gohan learned how to fly when he was Deku's age. I think it was close to Deku's age, maybe even younger, but I wouldn't really tell him how to fly because Gohan actually had to learn from people who knew already how to fly. It was like unconsciously they could fly, or it was like a basic skill for them, that the people that were teaching Gohan. But right now no one can fly instead of people that have quirks, so that allows them to fly. So he doesn't really have anyone to teach him how to fly, how to use ki, how to manipulate it, and how to do different attacks with it, but he has to discover it by himself. So I can see how that takes him longer to learn how to do this stuff. And remember, Deku just found out how to use his legs when he was when he had to break his arms to the point where they were permanently damaged. So I think Deku would have a longer time learning how to fly and do different tricks with it. And the Kamehameha wave, I think it would come in. I think he would already know how to do it. It's just like, it wouldn't really be called a Kamehameha wave, because he's like, okay, this is an attack that uses a lot of my forces, and this is like a final strike attack, so it's ultimate move. Wait, let's actually change that. I think he would get his Kamehameha wave when he does that ultimate move with the provisional license exam, but he wouldn't really have an ultimate move, just like these palm strikes that have ki in them, or normal ki attacks, like how Vegeta does it to sell like rapidly throwing ki attacks like small ones. That's the only thing that he probably does, and maybe some finger attacks to basically do small attacks like hitting tree branches or anything like that, or hitting something away from someone that he doesn't want them to get anything, or something like that, or maybe puncturing their legs or something, or maybe just hitting their legs with ki attacks so they won't be able to move or something like that. But he doesn't really know any large scale attacks like the Final Flash or the Kamehameha wave or the Gallic gun, or maybe even the Spirit Bomb. He probably even doesn't know that, so he might learn in the future. I don't know, you guys tell me. Should he learn like the Final Flash, Gallic gun, or should he only learn the Kamehameha wave and that's it? Or should he learn like a Spirit Bomb, Kamehameha wave, and the Final Flash and Gallic gun? Or maybe even, what was that Trunks attack when he like moves his arms around a lot of times and then does like this blast with 2 hands or something like that. But should he get multiple attacks like in Dragon Ball Z, or should he create his own? But he will get the Kamehameha wave because it's like a signature move of the franchise, so I think I would include that. But if you want me to put other moves in like the Spirit Bomb and all that etc stuff, tell me in the comments below and I'll do it. But all that stuff would come after the All Might and All for One fight. Oh, and if you're wondering when he goes into Ultra Instinct mode, the only way he knows how to go into it is when he's unconscious or in a danger which he can't escape. So for example, Todoroki's long wide-ranged ice attack, that is really, if he doesn't have the speed to get out of danger, then he would basically just go unconscious, and that's when his Ultra Instinct form would activate, and then his Ultra Instinct form will allow him to get out of danger. So it's only when he's unconscious and he doesn't really know if it exists or not, because he's always unconscious about it. And the only thing, it does happen when he's in danger, and that doesn't really happen that much after he gets into UA. Oh, and his quirk can activate when he's in danger and when he doesn't have it on. So if he's about to get attacked and he's just like wandering around and he doesn't really know if anyone's attacking him, he's just walking and the sludge villain is about to attack him. Let's actually just go with the sludge villain. So the sludge villain, he's going through the tunnel, and the sludge villain's about to attack him, and the quirk activates. He basically dodges it and he's like, whoa, my quirk just activates. And this is the first time this happened because Deku hasn't really gotten attacked by any villains in his life. So this is the first time he's actually being attacked, so he didn't really know that his quirk can actually forcefully activate by itself to let him know. So he's like, maybe the doctor was right, it's like, it's a self-defense mechanism of my body. So his quirk is already activated, so he knows where the other or how to dodge the sludge villain, and he's dodging him. There's this wide scale attack, and he just activates and pushes more energy out of his body so he can move around and starts throwing ki blast. And remember, if you've ever watched that video of how ki blast and how to do a Kamehameha video, it like proves scientifically what the ki blast is, or what ki is. It's basically plasma. So plasma is really hot, and it goes through the sludge villain and starts like burning him, ashing him, and then he starts getting burned, and then he passes away because of the heat that he's feeling. And then All Might comes in and he sees this like steaming pile of sludge on the floor, and then Deku's just like, whoa, that was good. And then his hair stops flowing, and then the aura, like that thin line of aura that was around his body, starts dissipating, and then he looks at All Might, he's like, oh my god, and then his eyes slowly turn back to green. And then Deku's really excited because he really wanted to meet All Might, and this time Deku isn't a total wuss because he's not that like nervous and all that stuff. Girls have been talking to him because his quirk is so amazing. He can get out of danger when however large the scale of attack is, he can get out of danger no matter what. So girls really like him. He talks to girls, so he doesn't really get nervous whenever he meets a girl. Bakugo also treats him better, but he still treats him like a rival, and he basically treats him like any other student in his class in 1A in the class. So he would basically say, let's just like say that when he wants to talk to someone, or if he's forced to talk to him, he would, and he doesn't have anything against it. So if he's like in a team of an assignment that he has to do with Deku, he's fine with talking to him. But if he had to go out of his way to talk to him, he wouldn't really do that, because he would just stay out of Deku's way, because you know, if he tries to hit him, he will always dodge it no matter what, so it doesn't really matter. And he doesn't really hang out with Deku that much. Deku hangs out with other kids that do the same thing as analyzing other quirks and heroes' quirks, so he would do that stuff, and he would hang out with those kids instead of Bakugo. So All Might would be there, he would sign his notebook and jump off, and he wouldn't really ask him a question. But let's say All Might was in a really big hurry, and he's like, okay, if I could actually and remember, he didn't really have to wait for Deku to wake up, so he has more time. So he's like, okay, if I can use full force and get to the police station really quick, I can get to my house and get some food. And he's really excited, so he overestimates his jump and then starts like flailing in the air, and in that movement he just drops the sludge villain and the bottles, and they basically fall in front of Bakugo. Bakugo kicks it, and not really that hard, because he's not really that happy. He's just like a brat, and he's like, who cares, it's the bottle, let me kick it. And he kicks it, and then it opens up, and the sludge villain comes out, attacks Bakugo. Bakugo struggles enough to get out of the alleyway, and then now is in front of the street, and the sludge villain is basically moving around, and then activates like this fire around him, and the fire goes out. Explosion happens, a crowd starts building up, and then heroes also arrive. The water hose hero, no, they're different people, they're Koda's parents, but the water pump hero dude who has like whatever, but the water dude hero, and they also have the other strong guy and other heroes that don't really matter. The media also get there because they see the explosion and the commotion. They rush there, and they also send like helicopters there to just because. And then they start scoping the situation out. This is getting live air on, or this is live, and everybody in the country and maybe even the world, not the world, but everybody in the city and the world, not the world, country can see this happening live. And Deku's like, that explosion looks interesting, so I'm gonna go. And then he basically goes, or I don't think the fire would be made by the sludge villain. I think it would be made by Baku's explosions, him trying to struggle out of there. So the explosion would be caused by Bakugo, and that is how it happened. And it would also burn the area around him, so it would cause a fire, and that's how the fire would be created. So Deku gets there, he's like, oh, that explosion, it seems awfully familiar. So he goes there, he sees Bakugo trapped. He would basically like, okay, Bakugo trapped, I'll run in there. And he's like, he doesn't really think about it. He's like, oh, Bakugo trapped, I'm gonna go there. And it's not even a big thing. He's like, this time he's not scared. He just doesn't think of the sludge villain as something really strong and something to be feared about. And he'd be just like, why are these heroes fearing the sludge villain? It's like a weakling. Then he's like, oh, it's probably because they don't have the right quirks to do it. What useless people. And he basically jumps in with a really strong kick, because remember, he can actually use his energy and ultra instinct to boost his speed and strength now. So he attacks there, pulls out Bakugo in one push, and remember, he covers Bakugo with a thin layer of his energy, so it separates the sludge villain from Bakugo's body, and then it activates and becomes more thicker and thicker, pushing Bakugo from the sludge villain. And the sludge villain can't just get through the energy because it's like a barrier, and he can't get through it to get to Bakugo. So you just push him out and then blast the sludge villain with a giant attack coming out of his palm. And yeah, it's like the medium attack. So it's not a ki blast that is round, but it's more of a medium-sized Kamehameha wave coming from one hand. So it's that. Because remember, he hasn't really thought of actually putting his two hands together to create a giant and even bigger attack. So he hasn't really thought that much head. Because he's like, why use two hands together when I can use two hands to create two attacks? And he still doesn't know the power of combining two attacks together to create an even stronger attack, and he can do way more than that. So the sludge villain goes to the same plasma treatment, and he burns up, and then there's like this steaming pile of sludge on the ground, and the heroes get there. He's like, what, that was dangerous, kid, but you handle it like a pro. You should basically come to my agency or something. The media gets there, and they're like, oh, what's your name, what's your quirk? And he's like, no, I don't really have the time for this, and it wasn't really that hard, so see ya. And he jumps off building to building and then gets to his house. And that's basically it. I'll do the entrance exam and maybe even the fitness exam, a little bit of the fitness exam tomorrow. Not tomorrow, yeah, maybe tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And hope you guys like, because it really does help the channel. Subscribe to join the family and hit the bell icon for my future videos. And as always, Anime Junkie out.